The Premier League is almost among us and we are going to do some early predictions. We are going to be naming our top 20. From 20 all the way to first, who we think is going to win.
I am so excited for the league to come back. I have been empty without club football.
What to do with our lives.
We don't have anything to talk about. There's nothing going on. I'm just kidding. But thank goodness there have been pre-season matches because it's also been giving us a really good insight into what these teams are looking like. So
let's just bear in mind there are a few weeks left till the Premier League starts and so much can change. So these predictions are wild early predictions.
Yes.
But we want to just see at the end of the season how close we were. So we're going to start from 20th all the way up and see how similar our predictions are and discuss why we think those teams are placed in those positions.
1, 2, 3, Luton Town. I love the feel-good story of Luton Town.
Same.
I think it's so exciting that they've made it into the Premier League.
First time ever in the Premier League.
That's why it's such a feel-good story, but I just don't see them competing with the level of the other teams. The Premier League is a league in its own for a reason,
and it's because it is their first time. They haven't experienced the challenges that the Premier League offers. So based on that is why I put them last.
Yeah.
1, 2, 3, Bournemouth.
I feel like Wolves have been scraping through, like just getting in, and with a lot of their key players leaving.
Raul Jimenez just left.
Yes, Nev's gone.
Nev's gone.
So I just feel like I just don't see them staying up.
And I don't see them getting replacements to actually...
Exactly.
I say Bournemouth, we all thought they would be rock bottom last season. They didn't. They proved everybody wrong, but I don't think they have what it takes this season. The competition is just too strong. So I'll put them in 19th.
1, 2, 3. Sheffield United. Okay, so you also think Wolves are going to get relegated?
I threw in Wolves as relegation.
Hectic.
So I've got Wolves, Bournemouth and Luton.
Okay, you see, I think Sheffield United because also we've seen a lot where teams come into the Premier League and 9 times out of 10 they go back down,
relegated.
you know.
They did well to make it to the semis of the FA Cup.
100%.
Which is why I kept them safe in the Premier League.
Okay, you see, like, I think they will surprise a lot of people because that is the beauty of this game. Anything can happen.
Possible.
But I don't know, I just feel like they're going to get relegated.
Valid.
1, 2, 3, Everton.
Sheffield United.
Okay, you see,
I've got them close. I have them just making it.
That's me with Everton.
Based on how far they went last season, I think they're going to manage to just scrape in. And it'll be a good story for them.
It will be. Like, I don't hate the team, you know, so it would be really cool to see that. Everton, I don't know if their problems are fixed as of yet.
Yeah.
So I see them just staying in and then perhaps another season in.
That'll be the third season in a row they just make it. So.
Okay, you see. So it's not looking that positive then if that's the case. So
1, 2, 3,
Crystal
Everton.
Palace. Okay.
So we have similar teams down at the bottom.
Going like that. Not too shabby.
Not too shabby. Palace, I understand why you put them there. They lost Wilfried Zaha.
Yeah.
One of their main sources of goals. Their best player. I understand why you say that. Everton, for the same reasons you mentioned.
Yeah.
I think they're going to be quite low on the table and just save themselves.
1, 2, 3. Nottingham Forest.
Wow,
so it's just like that.
Ours is quite similar.
I know.
Quite similar, but not the same.
Nottingham Forest, I honestly thought that they were, at the beginning of last season, I was like, they're on their way out. I thought they were on their way out.
I thought they would do better because of all the signings they did.
So that's actually why it shocked me. I was like, okay, you got all these players in, but then nothing was gelling.
There were way too many players.
That's the thing, nothing was working. So I feel like now, I think they're going to like sit into it a little bit more. You know, they've got some good quality players there.
And this is 15th, eh?
15th, yeah. So it's not going to be like a stellar season, but I certainly
that's not a terrible place to finish.
Exactly.
Yes, it's not the greatest, but at least they're safe.
And for them, I do think they're going to do better than they did last season. So I think they're going to be there.
1, 2, 3, Burnley.
Bournemouth.
You have a lot of faith in Bournemouth.
I know. Now that I'm thinking about that,
high.
I was like, that's really high up. I think this is the one that I'm going to be questioning a lot.
I think I'm going to be asking why in the world you decided they're going to do this well, but maybe they'll surprise us.
This is my wild card.
That's a shock pick of the season for you.
Okay, but
Bournemouth
like last season, anyone putting Chelsea so low.
You're right.
Wild card.
Listen, anything can happen.
So
valid. Wild card.
That's my wild card pick.
I've
that's
got
what I'm going
Burnley
with.
up at 14th. I know people have some expectations of them because they did so well in the Championship. But like you said, there's levels to the Premier League and the Championship. And I don't think they're going to do as well as people think. I think they're going to slot in at 14.
Interesting.
1, 2, 3,
Burnley.
Basically the same.
The same reason I think what Vincent Kompany has done with that team. They're looking very positive. He also has the experience of the Premier League, obviously, like as a player, you know. So it's not like he's new. I feel like he's going to take his team a lot higher than people think.
Listen, 13th is a great finish for a newly promoted team. Knowing the teams that are still coming,
that's actually really high up.
That's a really good finish.
Snap,
but
I believe
threw in Forest here, which I think is also a high finish for them. But I do think they will improve on how they were last season. 13th, I think, is a really good finish for them. That's what I've got there.
1, 2, 3, West Ham. I'm kind of stuck between, there's some teams that I've got higher up, but I'm like, if something happens or a player leaves, I think they're going to be lower down. So I can see Brentford finishing
I think Brentford, because in the first half of the season, they're missing their top goal scorer. They're missing.
He was so important last season. So important
for them.
And he's not there.
Based on that, they're still going to do well. But
they do have quality players.
By sitting almost mid-table, I don't think they'll struggle for relegation, but I don't think they'll do as well as last season.
Okay.
Based on the fact that Tony's not there, I think he has that much of an influence.
Yes. So I've got West Ham there, and the reason I've got West Ham is, okay, we all know Mr. Declan Rice.
Mr. Declan Basmati Rice.
So he's left. I think that is going to have an impact. They are playing Europa League football now as well, so I do think it is going to affect their Premier League campaign.
Definitely.
But yeah, I don't see them fighting for relegation or at the bottom of the table. I just think they're going to just hover there, in my opinion.
That's valid.
Yeah.
Which is why...
Do you have them next? 1, 2, 3,
West Ham. I have West Ham finishing in the bottom half of the table for the exact reasons you've just said. So
we don't need to repeat that.
Don't have to repeat that. Fulham, 11th. That's a good finish.
I've got Fulham in 11th, which I think is a relatively
That's a great finish.
Yes, and I know that, Mitrovic, obviously, he's out of there, right? But there are other players in that team that are stepping up and showing that they actually do have quality to offer. I was very impressed with Carlos Vinicius. He stepped in when Mitrovic had that nice little ban.
And Marco Silva as manager, I think, is such a good pick for them, and they could surprise some people. I think they could potentially surprise a lot of people.
So you think that'll be also a wild card?
Wild card.
All right.
But putting them 11th, I think, is a reasonable...
Safe there.
Safe place,
you know. So now we get into top 10.
Top 10.
Now there's going to be some
interesting
controversy.
1, 2, 3, Fulham.
Brentford. Nice.
Same reasons, pretty much mid-table. I'm assuming Brentford, you've got... Listen, if they finish 10th...
I'll actually be really surprised
because,
good Ivan Toney was like a very big part of their campaign last season, and not having them is going to affect them. But I do see them still... You see what I'm saying? Like, I just see them fighting to get into the top half of the table.
Especially at home, they get a lot of points that are quite shocking. They can beat anybody on their day.
1, 2, 3, Aston Villa. If Spurs lose Harry Kane,
then that makes a lot of sense.
That is going to make such an impact on that team.
If they keep him, they've strengthened their squad by having Maddison.
Again, so what I was going to say is, this is one of those teams that I mentioned that if Kane stays, and like you said, they brought Maddison in, they are looking really good in pre-season. I think they could go further up. For now, very controversial. I might eat my words, but I'm putting Spurs in 9th.
Okay, I've got Villa. I know they've strengthened their squad. Tielemans is there. Pau Torres, who I know United wanted for the longest time, couldn't get him. Solid centre back. They are strengthening their squad and finished 9th. I know they finished 7th last season, and I'm putting them lower than they were, even though they've gotten stronger. But I just think the other teams I'm going to mention are just, I think, even stronger than them.
That's the thing. You sort of have to look at the other teams and their squads before
everybody's improving, which is just crazy.
I must say, I'm very excited to watch Villa this season.
Same, yeah.
I wouldn't even be upset if they finished higher.
Their game against Newcastle, pre-season friendly, was very entertaining.
What a game.
A good game of football between both sides. But I think we're kind of on the same page here.
1, 2, 3,
Brighton.
Aston Villa. The same reasons we just discussed. Brighton in 8th.
Brighton in 8th. Because
interesting.
Brighton, this is now the next season where a lot of the youngsters are coming in.
Yeah.
I don't know how consistent they're going to be. I think they'll go through phases where they'll do really well and again surprise a lot of teams. But based on my previous points of other teams just being stronger,
I think that makes a lot of sense. 1, 2, 3, Brighton. I agree what you said with the youngsters coming in, and that can go either way though. These youngsters can come in and shine. And I think some of the younger players already from last season in CISO, I think Brighton has a lot of quality in their squad. And if they can get it right or continue to get it right like they did last season,
they'll get European football again. This is the other reason why I think they might not do as well, is because they're in Europe. They're going to be playing more games. So it's more of a challenge, not something they're used to.
Of course, yeah.
So based on that is why I've put them in.
I don't want to underestimate sorry, I don't want to underestimate Brighton. Leaving them there, but I wouldn't be surprised if they like really showed up.
I put Spurs there. I don't think they're going to get Champions League football again. Even with Kane, that's the best they're going to do. 7th, personally.
It's much better than my 9th, so.
Top 6.
Top 6, let's go.
We have the same top 6 though.
Yeah, just
our selections have been really similar, just placements a little bit different. Still, at this point right now, we've only had one team in the same position.
Yeah,
Luton.
that's true.
Top 6. Who do you have at 6?
1, 2, 3.
Newcastle.
I think Chelsea will be back in European football. I don't think they're going to have a repeat of the season that they did. They cleaned out a lot of players. It's almost like they're starting from scratch.
They are.
They've got a great manager.
He's come in at a time where they get to play a lot of games and work on his philosophy. Pre-season is going to help so much. Most of the other Chelsea managers have come in mid-season after sacking. They don't have time to work with the players and figure out what works, because the time, like for example, when Frank Lampard came back, when Graham Potter came in, all of those things, they didn't have time to work on their philosophy. They tried in games.
No, they went straight in there.
At the time, they're dropping points. The pressure's piling up. So there were too many changes. Now that Poch is in, gets to work on pre-season, I do think they're going to get into Europe.
Yes, I definitely agree with that. I don't see them in the top 4
which is why I put them above Newcastle.
Okay, so
why I have Newcastle at 6th.
Okay, I understand.
Because I think Newcastle have Champions League football. They're going to have, again, more pressure. So I have them in at 6th place. I think Chelsea, with the experience of already having played Champions League football, they don't have European football this season. So they can focus on the league. Their focus this season is to get back into the Champions League.
Such a good point.
Which is why I have them at 5th. Because this season, top 5 get into Champions League.
Okay, you've thought all this through.
So I already gave away my 5th place. Chelsea, who do you have at 5th?
I have Newcastle.
Okay, so basically the same.
It's just a swapsy situation. I think Newcastle really showed up last season. I think they surprised a lot of people. They've got a lot of great talent.
But will they make top 4 again? Top 4!
Top 4, baby! Top 4! Okay.
1, 2, 3.
Arsenal! They are back, baby!
Back where they belong, in 4th place.
Because yes, they had, obviously, the season that they had last season, I think surprised a lot of people.
City for majority of the season. And you know what? A top 4 finish is going to be a good finish.
Yes.
Because now they will have Champions League football. Again, the pressure's going to be on. Will they be able to cope? I don't know. A couple new players coming in.
Especially like with Declan Rice. I don't know if he's going to have the same thing. Yeah, but I'm mainly talking about Declan Rice because of the price tag on him.
Yeah.
We've seen a lot of the times where a price tag can really, it puts a lot of pressure on a player, and maybe their first season isn't as good. So it'll be interesting to see if that is what happens, if it takes him some time to slot in there.
That's a reasonable decision, to put them at 4th.
Yeah.
Now we got top 3. Who do we have next?
I think we're going to disagree.
Okay.
I want to see if you're going to pull a Man United fan and be delusional.
Let's go. Let's see. Who's in number 3?
1, 2, 3. Man United. I'm so proud of you.
I have to be realistic. We're making changes. We're growing. But I still think we are not at the level we need to be. Listen, I think the top 3 are going to be the contenders. I'm including United as a contender. But I don't know if we will win it this season.
The fact that you finished 3rd last season, where you seem to have such a shaky season at times, was still very impressive.
And I think we will improve on
I also
think we're going to get more points than last season. But still finish 3rd.
You've got Onana in there, he's a great signing for you guys. You don't have that out and out number 9 still.
Maybe I'll change my prediction depending on the transfer window.
You can't. We'll see how it goes. Because again, you got to slot in. You got to see how things work. There are still some issues you got to flesh out. So I'm not underestimating your team, to be honest. I do think that they are going to look more consistent than they did last season.
Yeah. 1, 2, 3. Man City.
No, you're lying to me.
You're lying. I hate to say this, but I think Liverpool will be winning the league. I'm looking at them. They seem very dangerous. Looking at Klopp, the way he's been speaking, the training. I've been watching their training videos. I've been watching the energy of the squad. There's so much synergy with Liverpool right now. With City making so many changes, so many players coming out. The pressure of having won the treble. Everyone's going to expect them to win the Champions League again, win the league again. There's so much pressure on them. I don't think they're going to handle it, and they will be finishing 2nd. Liverpool have so much to prove because of last season, and they have this hunger within them to show that we were the team that competed with City for years. This time we're going to take our place back on top. I hate this with a passion. I don't want this. I would love Liverpool to be in 10th or 20th. Honestly, I have to say my prediction, based on what I've seen at this very point, Liverpool, for me, are favourites.
You see, and that's the exact reason why I am terrified of Liverpool this season. Liverpool has always been the team that when City faces them, it's like Liverpool are City's kryptonite, okay? And like you said, everything you said, I echo that sentiment. I think Liverpool are going to be dangerous.
You just think City are better?
But I think it'll be tight. I don't think it'll be a clear winner. I don't think we'll be points ahead. I think it'll be very tight, to be honest. But I just think that City, yes, they've got a lot of changes, but they've always had 2 starting 11s, basically. Their squad depth is insane. And I think that if Pep does what Pep does best, I think they're still going to edge Liverpool and take the number 1 position.
City will be favourites. The only reason I don't have them winning is because of the pressure of having won the treble. I'm predicting City will win the Champions League again next season. But because of that, the league's going to be affected.
I understand. I get your thought process.
Yeah. When the season's over and we check this, we'll give ourselves points for those that are right.
Yes.
You know, all that stuff. So what's good is the fact that our predictions are pretty similar.
Yeah.
But
there's like one place difference.
Yeah. So,
nothing too crazy.
Quite interesting. We have some valid points as to why we've placed teams where they are. I still think we're going to be very wrong about some teams.
I think that this season there are going to be teams that are going to surprise us.
Some will disappoint us.
Yes,
but
100%.
I think this is a
I'm
interesting
so
prediction.
Ready for the season to start, you guys.
Yeah.
Cannot wait for club football to come back.
Let us know in the comments your predictions from number 1 to number 20. And we come back to this video, we'll see maybe someone is right. Can you imagine? Let us know.
Put it out there, guys, because it's always cool to look back
always
and
great
see
to look back on
what you were thinking at the time and what's happened.
If you're still watching this, thank you for watching all the way through. We appreciate your support. If you haven't already, hit that subscribe button, like, comment, share. Can't wait for the season.
More content coming, guys, so stick around.
Stay tuned.